Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Backmarkers F1 Show podcast. This is episode number 92. Chris Cato, joined by Tyler McDonald and Shaker Barty. Thanks, everybody, for joining us wherever you are watching in the world. We're going to be recapping and giving our reactions and opinions to the 2020 Russian Grand Prix. But just before I get into that, just a couple of quick notes. As a reminder, as always, our podcast is sponsored by the GPBox.com. Check the description in the video below, and you'll find some promo codes and offers from our friends at GPBox. And also, we've got this podcast, obviously, you're listening to right now, but coming later this week, around Thursday, should be coming out on Thursday, we've got a very interesting guest that was on our podcast last week. Video's all done, ready to go, and it is Tim Hauraney. Now, if you don't know the name, if you're a Canadian F1 fan, you most likely know the name. But if you're watching internationally, Tim is a former Canadian racing driver. He's raced in the Daytona 24 Hours. He's raced in the Formula Renault Series, Champ Car Atlantic. He's raced all around the world, some of the most historic racing tracks in the world. And he joined us on the podcast to basically talk about Canadian motorsport. You guys are going to learn a lot about Canadian racetracks that you might not know about other than the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And he also talked about his racing experiences around the world, which is really, really cool. And also just basically we talked about the F1 season, the Canadian drivers, Lewis Hamilton, things along those lines. So really, really good interview. I know all of us really enjoyed it. It was around almost an hour and a half in total. So that's going to be coming out on Thursday. So you don't want to miss that episode for sure. And stay tuned to our social media because we'll be uploading it very soon.
Yeah, I think that was maybe the most fun, or one of the most fun podcasts we've done on the show, because that was a hell of a time. Lots of good laughs. Tim's a great guy. He's also F1 reporter for TSN here in Canada, one of the main sports networks. So he's in tune with the guy. He knows a lot of the racers and has a lot of good knowledge about most of the guys. So
yeah, I think he was just getting off an interview with Nicholas Latifi.
Yeah, that's right.
Right before we interviewed him.
That's right.
So.
And he tells a very funny Daniel Ricciardo story as well, which had us all laughing. So you want to tune in. It was a fantastic episode, like Chris said, one of my more enjoyable ones. Because I might actually go back and listen back to it myself. Yeah. Because it was that good. I really enjoyed it. So make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And like I said, whether you're Canadian, you're going to learn a lot. And if you're not Canadian, you're going to learn a ton that you didn't even know about motorsport in this country, which is really unique. So yeah, absolutely. Like Tyler said, stay tuned for that. It was definitely a good one. All right. Now, getting back to more current events, let's talk about the Russian Grand Prix in Sochi. And you know what? It wasn't the worst Russian Grand Prix ever.
Exhilarating.
Wow. I wouldn't go that
Best
far.
one in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
I think yeah, that's probably accurate. I think.
And I still almost fell asleep on lap 28.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, it was funny that you said that because I think it was around the same time I looked at it. I'm like, oh Jesus, like still 20 laps to go. So not too much actually that we're going to go through in terms of the race events. I don't think too much action happened, but. Really, this is just going to end up being a Mercedes rant from my end because...
Yeah, you're not happy with Mercedes.
No, not a happy camper at all with Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton, and Valtteri Bottas. So if you're a Mercedes fan, I don't know if we have any that watch this podcast, it's not going to be a friendly episode for your boys.
Yeah,
but
I think Shaker and I aren't as upset as you are.
And this is the censored version too.
Like
I'm trying to hold back here.
Your Chris's rant should be a sponsored thing.
Yeah, it should be.
Because you're not too happy. Which we can get into it right now. Obviously, Valtteri Bottas wins the race. Lewis Hamilton comes third. Very impressive. After receiving a 10-second time penalty for a practice start not in the box. Sorry, 2 practice starts. Not in the designated box, which, something that no one really, I don't think we've ever really seen this penalty given out before. I mean, David Croft knew exactly the rule. He had the article and paragraph, he had it all ready for us, but we haven't really seen it before. So it was really interesting to see how the FIA handled this whole scenario. But
it was also weird because it happened twice. It was not just once that we see this odd regulation happening. We see it twice, like in a row, at the exact same person for the exact same thing. So it was just a weird violation to come up.
And, I was just gonna say, and to the championship leader, the most dominant team, right, who rarely ever makes any mistake.
And they were cool with it. Like obviously, if you're watching this now, you'll know the news that the FIA have rescinded the 2 penalty points that Hamilton originally got, which is very important, which we'll explain in a little bit. and it was just ended up being a fine for Mercedes, which in tune makes it was Mercedes' fault, not Lewis's fault, which is true because they gave him the direction to go into the middle of the pit exit and do a practice start there.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So this is the part that bothered me. So, obviously during the race, Hamilton was complaining, saying, the penalty was bullshit and all this type of stuff. And that I could extend an olive branch to say, okay, he's in the middle of the race. He's just realized he's not going to be able to win and make history, getting the 91st victory. So I could understand some of his him being upset there. But the problem I had is that after the race, and I tend to get this from Mercedes, that when things don't necessarily go their way, they start to cry a little bit. They start to complain too much. And it's like, I just wouldn't expect that from probably the most successful Formula One team ever, probably the best Formula One team ever. I would just like to see them more take it on the chin and just move on. Say, yeah, you know what? We messed up. For whatever reason, we didn't know where Lewis was going to go. We messed up. That's the rules. That's the regulation. Like you said, Crofty, I swear to God, he had it printed out, ready to go. He cited it like he was, on the OJ trial or something. And
I immediately pictured Crofty doing one of these with like.
Yeah, seriously. Those spectacles. He probably did it. I think he does that too, for sure. So, it's a rule. It's a regulation. He broke the rule. It doesn't happen often, yes, but it's in there. It's in the rule. Yeah. Crofty proved it to us, and same with the FIA. So, and I just have an article pulled up here, which is why what upset me even more was the after the race reaction was, this headline from the race fans: FIA dismisses Hamilton's claim they are trying to stop me. That's just the part I don't like about Hamilton. Is like things don't go his way, and then he immediately thinks like there's this big ploy at the FIA or the whole of the F1 world to bring him down and stop him. It's like, dude, you won 6 out of 10 races. Your team has scored every pole position this year. You're most likely going to bag this year's championship and next year's, and maybe the next 4 after that. It's like, if they're trying to stop you, man, they're doing a horrible job.
Yeah, I mean, like, if like you mentioned, if they're trying to stop him, they would have done this 4 races ago. It's not something that I don't think the FA is trying to do. It's a violation. If it was like this for anyone, it would be, it'd be given the same rule because, as Crofty said in the article, it's right there.
Yeah.
So it's just 100% Mercedes' fault. It's not FIA trying to go at Lewis Hamilton, because if they were, one, they're doing a bad job, and 2, they're doing it way too late. And it just doesn't make much sense, does it? Like, you're not going to go after the most popular driver in the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like you guys say 6 races ago. I say almost like 2017. They should have.
4 years ago.
4 years ago, he would have gotten his 4th championship. He would have gotten his 3rd. Would have been on to his 4th, and that would have been the time. And it's a little bit too late for them to do anything to Mercedes or Lewis Hamilton at this point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And he brings up the point in this article. It goes down later to say that, they're trying to slow us down and beat us by bringing in the quali modes and this type of thing. But it's like, that's not new. They did it with Ferrari in the early 2000s. They changed the whole tire regulations, which really messed Ferrari up. It screwed them up, and they weren't dominant after that. They lost the championships to Renault. Here, it's like they changed the aero regulations in 2019. They done this quali mode ban, and it's like Mercedes is still dominating. So it's like, what, man? Good for you. That's your team's amazing.
Yeah, they're so good.
Just come up with brand new systems, to make things work.
Yeah,
exactly, right? Like the DAS, the rear suspension innovation. Like, it's amazing.
Like, whoa, easy. Like, that's too good. Stop it. Like,
yeah, they could probably do a lot more.
That's just it. If FI wanted to stop them, it would have been at DAS. Like they would have shut that down. But obviously, he went through,
and not only that, let's remind everybody: this dude won a race on 3 wheels.
Yeah,
that's true.
3 wheels.
It's true.
So even if they tried to slow you down, like if they're, maybe he thinks that they're diabolically sitting in a room with Ferrari going, how are we going to slow Lewis Hamilton? I got an idea. Let's give him 3 wheels.
Really?
Still wins. Yeah, still wins. I was just gonna say, just to summarize that, sometimes I just find that they cry and complain too much. Okay, one thing during the race in the heat of a moment, but man, take it on the chin, just like Daniel Ricciardo, our boy Danny Rick. Hey Daniel, you got a penalty, 5 seconds, you messed up. Okay, fine, I'll just go faster.
Yeah, that was great.
That was awesome.
I mean, admitted his mistake right away. That's my bad. He knew exactly what he did. So it is a little bit different than Hamilton. It wasn't really his fault, but
like the thing is, and I wouldn't say this about any other driver on the grid, But it's Lewis Hamilton. If it was any other driver, I'd be like, oh, he has no chance of winning this race. But it's Lewis, so I was like, you know what? He probably could still win this race with that 10-second penalty. You know, like
you and I were messaging each other during the race, and where I was just like, well, I don't know why he's complaining. Like, there's still a chance that he might come back. And when you were like, yeah, he might still win this, not even just come back, like even to second or third. Like, it was very possible for him to do it.
There was. It was like a safety car or something that he could have.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think one of the virtual safety cars came on. I think it lasted like a lap or something. And
Not even.
If it was like lasted 2 or 3 laps and they had actually gotten a little bit close to each other, would have made a different race completely.
Grosjean was just checking to see if they had enough styrofoam.
Which I was surprised by that because I thought in Russia they just send the guys out during green flags. They don't give a fuck over there. So they're like.
No, going back to Lewis, I know I mentioned the penalty points. Those penalty points were really important actually because Hamilton was on 8, I believe, going into the race. So this would have gave him 10, and at 12 penalty points, he gets a race ban, which in the end actually could have been very interesting because Bottas got 11 points up on Hamilton this race, so it's at 44, I think, right now.
44.
Interesting stat. That's at 44, and the gap from Bottas to Verstappen is 33. Both their numbers.
Yeah, very interesting.
Random. Anyways, back on track. If Lewis got a race ban and Valtteri most likely wins the race, that's another 25 points. He's only 19 points back. Then you got a championship.
You got a championship on your hands.
You got a championship on your hands. So. Even 26 points? It's 18. So it could have been very interesting, but the FIA rescinded those points. Now, Lewis will lose 2 more of those points in Turkey, I believe. And then that's in 4 races' time? 4
Maybe
weeks?
less, I think. It's around in November.
Yeah. And then he won't lose any more points until next year at some point, next summer, next summer, I think. But it's 12 points in 12 months is what it is. So we haven't really seen anyone get close to this as of late. And Lewis Hamilton, who's one of the cleanest drivers on the grid over the last 10 years, interesting to see him just not driving dirty, but just having a lot of penalties go against him. So very important what the FIA's ruling was there. They rescinded the points, so it gives Hamilton a little more breathing room. Because if he has another collision with Albon, that's another 2 points or whatever. He has a race ban, so it could have been interesting. Interesting. Now he needs 4 more incidents. I doubt that's going to happen. Yeah, never know. I guess.
No, you're right. It's always who would have guessed this would have happened?
Yeah.
But actually, when you were just bringing up the whole points things, I wanted to just quickly, before we moved on, this actually came from, it was on a racefans.net article, username Ian Deering at Riptide. So Ian, if you're watching the show, well done for figuring this out. But yeah, so with the situation it is now, car 44 is 44 points ahead of Bottas, who is 33 points clear of car number 33, Verstappen. And between car 44 and car 33 are 77 points and car 77, Valtteri Bottas.
Wow. I didn't get that middle. That's that middle part.
Yeah. So that's like, I forget, what is it called? Is it gematria, the whole numerology thing? Or Inception, yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
The mind fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one I know. Anyways, whatever it's called, like there's always these things with like numbers line up, and this person was born this date, and it was whatever. So yeah,
the
very
called
interesting.
Symbols.
F1 edition. Yeah, yeah, very interesting though. So good for you, Ian. Ian, you're Ian Deeren. So well done to you, sir.
Going back to the penalty points, if Lewis Hamilton got a race ban, I mean, you could have a situation. I was thinking about this during the race when they were talking about it. I'm like, oh, this could be interesting. Nico Hulkenberg, who stepped in at Racing Point this year. What if he stepped in for that race ban for Lewis Hamilton's seat? He's never had a podium before, and he wins the race. That would have been such a crazy, amazing story for Nico Hulkenberg. And that's who I think would go in there. I don't know about you guys, but that makes sense to me.
It would be great to see, right? German driver as well. But I think actually it would be Stoffel Van Dorn because he's their current reserve driver.
That's right.
He was there, oddly enough, he was doing the interviews post-qualifying, but did a great job. Better than actually most of the
he did a good job.
Journalists nowadays. But I think it would be Van Dorn. I think in between his Formula E duties would probably be the most likely candidate.
Yeah, that makes sense. I completely forgot Van Dorn was a reserve driver there.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know why I didn't think of that. I guess it was Ocon last year. So
Yeah, that's right. I don't know who else really would be around or available for them, but
Quick question: when has Stoffel Van Dorn been there the entire year, or has it?
I don't know.
Like
It's
it's just
just
like,
recent.
it has to say it. It came up pretty quick that I thought somebody else was there beforehand.
Because
But
like he hasn't done any practice sessions.
no,
I think maybe it's because he's got a super license all ready to go. So
Well, maybe.
maybe that from convenience, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I guess it could have been Stoffel too.
Yeah.
Also Hulkenberg or Stoffel.
Yeah, I'd be fine with either one.
Yeah. And they win the race. That'd be amazing. Stoffel Van Dorn, race winner.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
First start, right, for Mercedes.
That's true. Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts on the penalty situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and what were your thoughts, but just on the whole penalty situation and whole Lewis and everything. But yeah, wasn't really happy with that. And then surprisingly, another guy that pissed me off was Valtteri Bottas,
yeah.
a guy that usually doesn't piss me off that much. Valtteri, I mean, calm, nice guy, great driver and everything, but. Wins his first race since Austria, which is crazy. Heading into the Russian Grand Prix, guys, he won the same amount of races as Pierre Gasly and AlphaTauri.
That's true.
Yeah, that's insane,
true.
right?
So keep that in the back of your mind while I rant here. But he goes and wins the race, albeit it was lucky. If we're being honest, had Hamilton not got the penalties.
Well, no. Hold on. Because they were on different tires and different strategies. So I think it still would have been an interesting
fair
race.
enough. It definitely would have been. I agree with you
So
on
I wouldn't
that.
say that he wouldn't have won it. I think he would have had a great shot at winning it, actually.
I still think
They were on
Hamilton
different
won.
strategies until Lewis Hamilton asked for the same strategy as Valtteri Bottas.
yeah. That's true. Fair.
Either way, it definitely would have been close, let's say. But they were talking during the pre-race buildup, like last couple of years, pole position man has never led going into turn 2. And then what do you know? Valtteri's right in the perfect spot to take over with the slipstream, and he doesn't get past Hamilton. Doesn't get his elbows out. Wasn't as aggressive as we all always want him to be, like Nico Rosberg, like you were talking about. And then, whatever, goes and wins the race. Does a fine job. Fine, solid job. I'm thinking on the team radio, he's going to go like Kimi Räikkönen, like, oh, finally, it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes with this like cocky radio message, like Conor McGregor-esque type radio message of like, oh, to the haters, to whom it may concern, fuck you, going to his Australia 2019 team radio. And I'm sitting there going, dude, you're in the most dominant car possibly like ever in the history of F1. Your teammate is blitzing you in the championship. You were 0.6 down in qualifying the day before. I wouldn't necessarily be like boasting my chest that much.
Like it's good for his confidence, I think. But
Sure.
like, yeah, no, I'm kind of with you. I wasn't really expecting that radio message. I was expecting him to be like sick, like as a finally. Like it's been a little bit,
Right?
Like this is more than deserved. I should have had this, 3-4 races ago. But yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that radio message. That's for sure. I don't know if it's just like a tradition now. When he wins, he's just gonna be like, "F you" to everyone.
To whom it may
Just,
concern.
like, middle fingers up or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting radio message.
Because, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, you look at his last couple races, he has had some bad luck, but he's also had a bunch of terrible starts. Like in Hungary, in Mugello, he was leading the race, screwed up the start twice. So he's had his opportunity.
And crashed everyone. He didn't.
exactly.
He didn't.
I know, but he started it. So, did that thing fall?
The AlphaTauri pit board.
Oh,
wants
whoops.
to-
That's all right.
Oh,
We had a virtual safety car. We'll deploy it here and fix it. So he's had his fair share, but I'm just saying that like he's in a great dominant car. They've locked out pole positions all across the entire year.
Oh, I really screwed it up, boys. I really screwed it up.
Nice job, Roman.
Oh, that didn't go well.
That's fine. We'll leave it like
We'll leave
that.
it like that. It's a wreck.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well.
That's more like natural.
The
that
car
way.
almost went right through the boards.
Hey.
I think people get it. This is episode 92. They know what show they're watching.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
something fell off.
Yeah,
So,
the
yeah.
McLaren came off. Oh, the McLaren just crashing into everything.
Yeah. Ooh, I think was that Carlos Sainz's
Yeah,
McLaren that
Sainz
fell
right
off
into
there?
a
Yeah.
wall? What's that?
That was hilarious.
Poor science too. I mean, like, sorry, we should go back to what you're saying, but just like, guys just trying to go. He's like, I screwed up, but I'm gonna make it back. I'm gonna zip through this penalty area. And he goes through and just
You know what
absolutely eats it on the wall, and you gotta be thinking like, he's not hurt at all, but like his ego's like, oh, what did I just do?
And then you have your teammate coming on saying you're trying to be a hero on the first turn.
Yeah, Lando.
Like, I don't know if Lando was joking around or like
He's probably serious.
He sounded serious. He was like, what is Carlos doing? Like,
You know, it'd be hilarious. Like, I just thought of this. Remember his team radio after he crashed in Mugello? If they like,
oh my god,
oh my god,
that was dangerous.
yeah.
You don't crash into a wall.
Well, I was laughing so hard because I was telling you this. Like, I'm sure we've all done it playing F1 video games. You just like stupidly run into a wall, like coming out of the pit lane or something. Like, it was such a video game type mistake, but to see it happen. Like into a Grand Prix, I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I mean, after he wasn't hurt and like no one T-boned him, I was like, oh, what the heck just happened? Like,
yeah,
it was concerning at first. And he was like, he's fine. I'm like, oh, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Aye.
That's an expensive screw up.
But just like the way he was like,
you should have done what Grosjean did, just run through the styrofoam.
Yeah.
But I could just imagine like his thought process, like, yeah, I'm gonna floor it, and then what wall?
Damn it!
Like, I'm smarter than everybody. Oh no!
Poor guy.
Oh my god!
Hey, we love science.
Yeah, that
he's
is great.
Poor guy.
He's brilliant. Yeah, you should have knocked down the science coaster. That would have been perfect.
Oh, that would have been good.
Oh man, I'm still laughing at that. Yeah, you wonder if
You know what's funny?
the Ricardo one fell.
No, because this is. Oh, that's Ricardo. I was gonna say if this was signs behind this is Vettel's feet cut off.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
We should have. Yeah, we should switch that for next time.
Yeah, we should.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Does anyone? Did we say that on this podcast? We lost Sebastian Vettel. He fell and broke both his legs. His bobblehead. Which was a staple on the podcast. Everyone,
Yeah, we'll have to fix it. I'll bring some Gorilla Glue or something.
yeah,
It happened during quarantine. I changed everything.
Yeah.
Well, we have to repaint him for next year because he's still red.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know
that.
Aston Martin's colors yet, though.
Lance Stroll said it was going to be green.
What?
Yeah.
What is Lance? Lance, I guess he would know it.
Guys, racing green.
Hey, you know what?
UK
He shouldn't know because he's not signed for next year right now. He's not confirmed for
I'm
next
waiting.
year.
I'm like, I
think
can
he's
barely
gonna know
sleep at
either
night.
way.
No,
I'm checking my phone every 6 minutes to say, is Lance Stroll resigned yet?
no, because what's going to happen? Lewis Hamilton isn't signed yet for Mercedes for next year, so Lance is going to the Mercedes.
Oh, and Lewis and Seb at Aston Martin.
There you go. They can finally battle it out.
Perfect. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, there you go.
This is like turned into a Reddit podcast.
Yeah.
Comment section.
Fantasy area.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about since we're on Lance and we're calling let's talk about the lap one incidents.
I'm trying to remember. Well,
Which was the only
so funny,
well,
but
yeah, Sainz just crashed into a wall, so there's nothing really going on there.
yeah. Yeah, what'd you think of that Lance
Stroll incident? Yeah, I 100% Charles Leclerc's fault, and I'm not saying that in bias at all. I don't know, like Leclerc just didn't. I don't know where he's expecting Lance to go on that turn. Like there wasn't enough room for two Carlos there. You kind of, I don't know. I think it's Charles' fault. Which
Should
is
have
too
been a
bad.
penalty.
Racing incident. I'm okay
Racing
with it being a
incident,
racing
yeah.
incident. It's just more Charles's fault. It's okay. I think it's a racing incident.
And it's lap one.
Yeah, exactly. But I think maybe give him a little more room.
Yeah.
Another-
Two doesn't go into one there.
Yeah, like another foot. It would have been everything would have been fine.
No,
so
but Stroll came back on him though.
that's what Charles said.
Yep.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I don't
He was
know about
ahead,
that
though.
either. He was ahead. I kind of just see more like Stroll kind of just went off the bump there, and then
Well,
he just kind of lost control after Charles hit him a little bit.
he
too,
was
you
on
know?
the curb, right?
Yeah.
So it's he
I-
has to get back on the track somewhere.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he was
you know?
just trying to turn the wheel, being on the curb. Charles comes up and
Yeah.
taps him a little bit. It would make sense that the way he moved too, if it hit the back right wheel, the car
Yeah.
would fly that way.
Well, and it was tough too because he
Yeah.
had the upgrades and he got messed up in qualifying because his car was like overheating sitting there on the grid.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, but he would have I think he probably would have gotten a top 8 finish at the very least, I think.
Yeah.
Considering where Sergio finished. So
Oh, maybe those
unfortunate-
upgrades don't even work.
Isn't that two races in a row? That
Yeah.
They've wrecked the upgrades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't that big this time around.
Yeah.
That other one was
'Cause he has
massive.
he had a new chassis.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Because of-
Oh, that thing's done. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
was
thing after
toast.
Mugello was
Catch
crushed.
fire.
I think maybe a little bit. Yeah.
There was an F2 car that caught fire and caught.
Oh my God!
You see that? Yeah, that was nuts. F2.
No,
if you guys haven't seen it, it's on F1's YouTube, I think.
Yeah, we'll put it in while we're talking.
Yeah. So it was Jack Aiken and
I think it was Markelov or
maybe. I don't know. Anyways, they made contact on turn 4, the long winding left-hander. It was just good racing, but it was like a scary shunt. And you're like, oh no, that's not good. Like right away. And then, was it Markelov? Hold on, I know you're looking at it here.
Luca Giotto.
Luca Giotto. Okay, Luca Giotto. So Luca Giotto goes flying into the barriers, like flying. And his car is like wedged in between the barriers and catches fire. Here, you're gonna watch it here. We have it up for you.
It went through the barriers.
Yeah, so Aiken goes in on the inside. They're going through turn 4. This is great racing. These two were battling pretty hard. And then just a little bit of contact. Aiken tries to squeeze them. There's 2 fit into 1. They don't. And they go flying. Both of them hard into the wall. So yeah, so there you see Giotto. So he goes flying in. He goes through.
And he went straight through.
Aiken went through the walls too. So but then Giotto's car caught fire, caught the barriers on fire.
Yeah.
And they had a red flag the F2 race, and they couldn't restart it. So the F2 race was finished. I mean, look at that mess.
It looks like somebody bombed that barrier.
It's a mess. So yeah, so they couldn't finish the F2 race.
Look at him climbing out. It's like they just
what?
RPG'd his car or something.
So
he just got out of the war zone.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I'm glad they were both okay.
Oh my God, yeah.
But they were worried at the start of the F1 race. They're like, okay, like are they going to repair the barriers in time, or are they going to have to delay the start of the F1 race? But I guess everything was okay. But yeah,
they had to get it ready for Grosjean.
Yeah, very scary shunt there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck.
Yeah, well, I know we're jumping around a little bit, but
we are, yeah.
Mick Schumacher leading the championship, extending his points lead to 22 points, and gotta tell you, his victory on the feature race was brilliant. Absolutely class of the field, and Mick's really starting to show some promise. I know that he's still rough around the edges for sure, and I think me and you agree. We were talking a couple weeks ago that another year in F2 would be good.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if he finishes top 3 in the championship, especially if he wins
the championship, he's got to go up.
Going to Alpha. So, Alfa Romeo, that is.
Yeah.
Sauber,
according to Pierre Gasly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's raced really well. Like, he's really starting to come into his own. Guan Yu Zhao, anyways. He ended up being the race winner in that
sprint race.
That's what the crash was in, and half points were awarded in that race.
Right.
Because it didn't meet distance or whatever.
Yeah, Schumacher was P3, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
So, good weekend for him. But, man, that's a tantalizing driver lineup because it sounds like Kimi Räikkönen is staying for 2021. So, if we get Räikkönen and Schumacher...
Well, let's go into the driver's market here quickly because I'm going to tell you who is confirmed according to Wikipedia, which, usually is pretty accurate for this kind of stuff. Not in general, but for this stuff, it is accurate. So, right now, Alfa Romeo have no one confirmed for next year.
Right.
AlphaTauri have no one confirmed for next year. Alpine, sorry. Alpine have both drivers confirmed, obviously Ocon and Alonso. Aston Martin only have Vettel confirmed right now, but you would have to think Stroll's going in that seat.
Man, I really hope so.
You never know. Ferrari have both confirmed. They've got obviously Charles and Carlos. Haas have no one confirmed yet, which is very interesting because Mick could go into that seat as well, with it being a Ferrari drive.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. I've just thought about it. Like this literally came into my mind like 5 seconds ago. Having Sergio Perez at an American team might just be good for North American relations.
That's a great point.
That's a good point. He has to go in somewhere. He has to fit into this puzzle somewhere. So
that is a rumor I've been hearing.
Yeah. So I was just thinking of with Mexico and America being so close, that might be a good little partnership they have there.
I'm surprised there hasn't been an American driver come out yet.
Yeah.
For Haas, I'm sure that'll happen eventually. McLaren have Ricciardo and Norris, obviously. Mercedes, only Bottas is confirmed so far. Lewis doesn't have a contract, apparently, according to Wikipedia. Red Bull, obviously Max, and then no one as his partner just yet. So, room for debate there, but I think it's going to be Albon or Gasly. And then Williams have George and Nicholas confirmed for next year as well.
Great.
So there's your confirmed, not confirmed, who's going where, and you fill in the blanks on where you think everyone's going to go.
Yeah, for sure. I think those are the rumors I've been hearing. Is Sergio Perez has been linked with Haas in the last couple of weeks.
Is Hulkenberg going to come back?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I know Hulkenberg was in talks when he came back in Silverstone with Alfa Romeo. Obviously, there's a connection there. He started his career with Sauber. He knows Fred Vasseur pretty well. But now with Mick Schumacher obviously leading the championship, looking like he'll at the very least finish in the top 3, that's looking likely that they want to put in a driver for 2021, have him develop a little bit, and then be ready for 2022 when the big rule changes come in instead of the other way around. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've been hearing on that regard. And I'm not sure about where Kevin Magnussen's going to land. I think if you're looking at getting rid of somebody at Haas, it's most likely going to be Grosjean, unfortunately.
But who's going to fill in as the head of drivers, whatever it is?
Oh, the GDP. Oh, yeah. Roman will still do it.
Oh, okay.
Remotely.
The what?
The Grand
Prix Drivers Association?
Yeah, so the Drivers Association.
Huh.
He's the head of it, which is
really?
The most amazing thing in the world.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
why
amazing.
him out of all people?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's the most out there. He's the most proactive, I would guess. He's always asking questions, so I can understand why they have him.
Do you think he starts every meeting with mate? Ran me off
No,
the
I
track.
think he goes. Okay, guys. And then starts starts bitching about something. But yeah, no, it's interesting. Like, does Hulkenberg come back into a seat? You mentioned Schumacher. Perez is out there. Is there another driver that could come out? Is there another driver that isn't on the grid right now that you're like, oh, maybe he could get a seat?
Possibly Tsunoda in F2, linked with AlphaTauri.
I think he's too young. I think he needs another year F2. He's
he
very
have
rough
enough,
around the edges.
Yeah, doesn't have enough super license points either. Just yet.
Oh, okay.
So you said Daniel Kvyat isn't signed for next year, right?
He's not. No one is signed for AlphaTauri next year.
It's usually
well,
how they
there's
do it.
Pierre Gasly has to come back.
Well, he's
That's-
gonna be. Well, he's gonna be AlphaTauri or Red Bull. It's just, and same with Albon.
I think he'll stay at AlphaTauri.
I don't think Red Bull can go back on that. I think.
don't know. Let's see. They can do what it is.
I mean, they didn't go back with Daniel Kvyat.
Yeah, but it's a little different. I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it's a little different. It's Max took that seat, and Gasly and Albon. No offense to them, they're not Max.
No, it's
No,
true.
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That Red Bull seat is a hot seat. Like, do you want to be in that seat?
Does Hulkenberg go in that seat?
Yeah, that's. I
think he should.
Does
Yeah,
Perez
I
go
think
in
this
that
is a
seat?
suggestion I made about like when we were hearing about Hulkenberg leaving. Is that would be the prime spot for him to be because he's.
And then you put Albon and
Yeah.
Gasly as AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
a
you
great
could-
driver.
it is a
lineup.
great driver lineup. I think that is
Like, that could be very interesting as well. I know Perez would fit in there really well too.
He'd be perfect, I think.
I think it's the right time. Like, he kind of didn't get that opportunity to go into top cars. So I don't know. I think it'd be a good time for both of them to go in there. I mean, no one really has affiliation with them, but I mean, why? Like, I know Red Bull needs someone to be there with Max, so it's an option. I think.
Like, I was a little bit surprised with Albon this weekend. I thought he'd be a lot closer
Yeah,
to
me
Max
too.
again after the good podium in Mugello. And, like, Max put in a phenomenal qualifying
Max
lap.
was
Well, I
very
thought
good.
with Albon it was something with his. Oh my God,
Steering wheel.
no.
Well, he got a penalty, right? A gearbox penalty?
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
something with his gear. He got a gearbox penalty, and that's why he was so far back. But I thought something else happened during the race as well.
Oh,
I'm not
Maybe you're
sure.
forgetting.
I know that's why he started further back, but at the same time, too, like, he was struggling to get by, like, Lando
Oh,
and
Gasly
Williams, and Gasly got by him. Yeah, exactly. So I was just surprised. Maybe it's a track specific thing, but I thought he'd be. I'm like, okay, he got his first podium. Maybe that's exactly what he needed, and he wasn't quite there yet. But I agree. I think a lineup of Perez, Verstappen, even Hulkenberg, Verstappen would be brilliant. But
Yeah.
I think that's kind of outside looking in. I want to say that because Albon is from Thailand, there's some. I remember reading this on Twitter, and obviously you can't really take this for 100% verified source, but there's some sort of link between Red Bull and Thailand. Maybe they're part owned by somebody that's Thai, or they have some sort of big business
Pretty
link
sure
with
Red Bull
somebody.
is from Thailand.
Oh, they're Austrian.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe you can do some research, but I remember reading something about on Twitter of why they kind of want to keep him is because there's some sort of business link like that.
Like,
Again, this might be completely wrong, and I feel like this is something in the back of my mind, but I feel like Red Bull originally came like the idea of Red Bull as an energy drink originally came from Thailand.
I think you're right. Yeah, it was based off
it's
Thailand
based like
drink.
a Thailand drink that was made in
You're right.
Thailand.
Yeah.
That eventually said like the guy that started Red Bull.
Matches,
went over, tried this drink, and it was amazed by it, and then he ended up.
Thing.
Yeah, I remember reading something about this or watching some video on it, but I feel like that's what it was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think there's some sort of link there because I think Albon has some Thai backers as well that are pretty wealthy. So that could, I was reading something as that's sort of a reason why they're not kind of quick to pull the trigger and replace him with somebody else. But who knows? I could be wrong. I mean, Perez has big sponsors as well. So.
Perez is a
lot
of sponsors.
Here we go, boys. Here we go. This is again Wikipedia.
Good old Wikipedia.
We'll trust it.
Austrian entrepreneur Dietrich Mashevich. Anyways.
Oh, so he's Austrian. So this guy is Austrian.
Yes, he is Austrian. Yes,
Okay.
he is Austrian.
Austria's evolved.
Yes.
Good.
Was inspired by an existing energy drink named Kratang Dang, which was first introduced and sold in Thailand.
It says country of origin Austria.
Yeah.
Well, I'm right then.
Yeah, I was never saying you were wrong.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying.
That's fine then. Whatever. Continue.
Move on.
I was just saying you're probably right. I just think the drink itself was derived from Thailand. The company,
which you're right. Yeah.
The company is yes.
Okay,
yes.
I get it. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
I was right, so whatever.
Okay, so here. So in Thailand, in Thai, dang means red, and kratang, known in English as a gore or Indian bison, is a large piece of wild bovine named in South Asia. So, bull.
Oh,
There we go.
There you go.
very cool.
The more you know, guys.
That is the more you know. That's a good segment right there.
Clip that off.
Yeah.
So, anyways, bringing it all the way around back to the driver
Where
market.
were we at? Yeah.
Keep that in the back of your mind when you're debating with your friends. Let them know about Crod. Was it again?
Kratang dang.
Yeah, Kratting Dang. That's why they're not getting rid of Alex Albon, folks.
Okay.
If anybody
You
asks.
heard it here first.
Yeah. That's going to be my the next free practice, Ask Crofty. Be like, why don't you talk about Kratting Dang as the reason why they're not getting rid of Albon? Come on, bro. So, yeah, very interesting.
Find that in your rule book, Rob.
But make sure to comment down below your driver market predictions. Who do you think is going to slot into those seats? I really think it's kind of a toss-up. It's difficult to really pinpoint what's going to happen, but I'm sure we'll hear something within the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll have to wait till the end of the year, but who knows?
Max is signed on for Red Bull for next year? Okay.
Yeah. He signed him for a couple of more years, I think.
But he does have an exit clause.
He doesn't have exit clause.
Yeah, so
Something where if he doesn't win enough races, right?
He doesn't get a podium by halfway through the year or something like that.
Yeah, or if he's just fed up.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mercedes offers him a spot.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Where are we off to next race?
Germany. Nürburgring.
Nürburgring.
I'm
Nice
excited
Grand
for this
Prix.
one. Yeah.
Fun fact, the Nürburgring just had the 24 hours of Nürburgring this past weekend, and I watched a little bit of it. It was in full rain. It was a mess. Red flagged overnight. It was raining that hard.
Oh, that's going to be
Wow.
It was. I watched the highlights. There's like 6 minutes of highlights. It was good. Then they continued during the day. There was a drama at the end. The P1 lost the lead. I don't know the names or whatever. Anyways, the highlights that they put 24 hours into 6 minutes, and I watched the 6 minutes. It was great. I also watched some of the race. They streamed it live on YouTube.
Oh, good for them.
In English. It was great.
Nice.
That's
Yeah, they
fantastic.
were.
I wish I would have seen that.
Yeah, so I was watching that for a little bit overnight. And it was a great
You
time.
were watching the red flag?
No, overnight for me
Okay.
would have been
Like what?
6 a.m. and 7 a.m. for them. So they would have been, or they would have just started again.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah.
I was watching before the red flag. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways, I was watching a little bit. It was fun. And watched the 6 minute highlights. Back to Nürburgring. Hopefully there's rain this weekend.
There could be even snow.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cold right now. And I was watching, where were they?
What's the last snow race? Has there been a snow race? Oh, no, I'm thinking NASCAR. NASCAR, there was a race and it snowed during the race.
Yeah.
They had to cancel. They're throwing snowballs at the fans. It was great.
I mean, it could happen. Like it'll be October by the time we get there in Germany. So it's pretty cool. It'll be cool. It's not going to be Russia hot, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Russia's hot this weekend.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Nürburgring, that's going to be good. I mean, I guess in terms of Russian Grand Prix, I know this episode has just kind of turned into more of a jumping around everywhere, but I think it's more entertaining than the race was anyway, so that's fine.
It's true.
I just wanted to, before we sign off, a quick shout out to Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean, who had excellent starts.
They had a great
And lap
start.
one.
It's too bad that they couldn't hold those positions because I was really rooting for them. I was like, let's go, boys. Like, get there.
I mean, even with George Russell, we mentioned Lando Norris. He had a pretty good race, good wheel-to-wheel racing with Albon. Great defending from Norris.
Yes.
Great
Very
defending from Norris.
Yes.
I wanted to comment on this earlier with Albon. I think that is actually Albon's biggest weakness is his defending. In overtaking and wheel-to-wheel racing, I find like race to race you do see the improvements.
He's not afraid to. Like, he knows where to put the car.
Exactly. Exactly. You're
attacking.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I find defending is his weak point because with Pierre Gasly, man, that was not good whatsoever. You can't be defending like that. That was not good.
Tell you what, another driver I was impressed with too is Nicholas Latifi.
Yes.
And I know Williams was struggling. They were at the back of the grid, but him starting 20th with the penalties ended up finishing ahead of his teammate. I know Russell had to stop
He
again.
made up 2 places on the first lap or something like that.
More than that. He was up like
5.
4 or 5.
Yeah, 5.
Wow.
Again. He always does it.
Yeah, he's great off the start. Fell back then after. But then again, like he was, when Russell eventually did catch up, he stayed ahead of Russell. His pace was good. Was able to manage through traffic actually fairly well. So yeah, Tim Hauraney talked about it, and you guys will see it in the upcoming podcast about, and he thinks that Nicholas and George are actually on par.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said the same thing though.
Yeah. So it's
Where-
interesting to hear his analysis and breaking it down. So
This is no Canadian bias either.
not at all. But no, he does, and obviously, like him as a racing driver, I take his word for it because he's seeing the things that we're not necessarily seeing.
Yeah, he has the eye, the driver's eye, right? We're just fans.
Yeah.
You know, we're not experts. We're not, these.
I mean, speak for yourself. But
I don't know, man. My weekend driving has made me pretty good at judging people.
My eye racing, my racecraft and my eye racing. I'm basically a pro.
yeah, you're fully pro with the iRacing.
No, definitely not. I think I'm C licensed, which is not good. Anyways, my eye rating's not that great. But I have to spend a lot of. I was telling you guys before the podcast, a lot of money about to be spent on iRacing for tracks because I gotta do some IMSA stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But guys, I mean, if you want to help out Tyler's iRacing, the donation button is in the description below. So if you want to help support the channel or Tyler's iRacing career, feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad we didn't start this when I just started. We could have done a video on every single race. And
It's actually
how
we
horrible
got some
a driver I am.
great advice from Tim about how to be, if you want to get into racing, and that's one of the
That's
advice
true.
he did give is getting into iRacing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. If there's any parents out there trying to get your,
I think I'll clip that off separately. I think that was a brilliant little segment.
It was.
And not actually something that I've heard people say like, oh, look, put them in the simulator first, see if they like it, see if this is something that they like. I thought that was a great piece of advice I never thought of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, it's just it's coming from a perspective of somebody who's been a driver and grew up more in like the 90s where you didn't have the technology or that stuff, and it's nice to have somebody, now that's, we're in 2020 and we have these great simulators. So yeah, it's a big advantage for sure.
Yeah.
And even doesn't have to be a simulator, start them off in just a racing game of any type. See if they have any interest in racing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, it was great. I had to really control myself and not go down the Champ Car nostalgia route.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get. You'll see at the end and during the whole interview with Tim, but we could have gone on for another hour and a half.
Yeah, he loves to talk.
It was great. We were having such a good time. So there might eventually be a part 2.
There has to be.
To this because it was great. We had such a good time. So we hope you guys enjoy it. It's coming out. You said Thursday you're gonna release it.
Yeah, Thursday.
So that's definitely make sure you click that notification bell down below so you know when the Tim Hauraney interview will be happening. And make sure you click the subscribe button too, because if you like our content and you want to see more of it, make sure you subscribe. Chris has been killing it with the track breakdowns before every weekend if you want to know more about the tracks. And you got track guides too for the new tracks that have come up as well. That will be coming up shortly, actually.
Yeah, Portimao is going to be coming up shortly.
Yeah.
That video got some good traction. A lot of Portuguese viewers were interested in that. So if you're new to the show from Portugal, welcome, or anybody else as well. So that's also found. It was weird. I got a copyright strike on their Russian Grand Prix video of the onboard lap I did in F1 2020.
Really?
It was really weird. There's some weird things going on with their channel because I've done probably, 3 or 4 of those so far, and I always drive an F1 2020 lap of the specific track that we're at. And yeah, they gave me a copyright strike for it.
Oh.
But there's like YouTubers that literally YouTube off of the F1 game.
Did you fight it?
Well, no, because I didn't want to go down that road because I heard, if you submit the claim and stuff like that and you lose, you get a strike added and that type of thing. So
how can we? You can't lose. It's a video game.
I don't know.
Was there music in the background?
No, it was just straight engine noise.
Oh, well, that's weird. All right,
YouTube
Mercedes.
Damn it! They heard us talking crap about them. They've got us.
YouTube is trying to stop us, Shaker.
Yeah.
That's
Damn it.
Yeah, I don't want to go down like that.
Sorry, yeah. I had to bring that up.
That was so well done. Well done, sir. Oh, man.
Anyways, we don't have to go down the YouTube bandwagon right now or whatever it is. We can discuss this after the podcast.
But yeah, that'll think we'll do it for the Russian Grand Prix. We didn't touch too much on the race, guys, but I hope you don't mind and just enjoyed that episode. But as usual, just jump in the comments below. Let us know what you thought of the race. We'll try and get back to as many people as possible. So yeah, we got that interview coming up this Thursday, and then next week we'll be into the German Grand Prix. It's called the Eiffel Grand Prix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did we get a background on Eiffel?
No, I think that's like the area. That's what it's called. So,
okay.
But back at the Nürburgring, F1 is back.
Yeah, that's going to be a great
Yeah,
race. It's always a good race at Nürburgring.
Very good.
Excited.
Yeah, and the weather's going to be a huge factor, which is exciting. So, yeah, should be fun. Like Tyler said,
Netflix back?
with somebody, not sure who, but
I hope it's Mercedes.
It can't be. They mess up every time.
Yeah.
which they should be back.
Maybe.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm hoping for.
But Lewis going for history again in the
That's right.
Nürburgring, which would be pretty fitting to do it in Germany.
Yeah, it would be. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, they were hoping for some record being broken last year at Germany or something too, right? And then it never happened.
What,
I don't know.
longest pit stop in modern Formula One?
Yeah, maybe it is.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Too many things to remember.
I mean, it was an exciting race. There's too
Oh,
many.
the last
Yeah.
one was
Yeah,
great.
yeah. There's too many
Yeah.
things to remember from last.
Oh,
Germany's
even
race.
if you watch I watched the highlight video not too long ago, and like they still don't get everything in that like 10-minute highlight.
Right.
You're
Yeah,
like,
it's
no, you missed
insane.
this.
Yeah. Too much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it then for episode 92. If you just actually are watching the Tim Hauraney interview, I know we said it's 92, but I messed up. It's going to be 93. I forgot that we were doing this episode. But anyways, small details.
Small details.
You'll figure it out. Yeah, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Mostly on Twitter. That's where we're the most active, and you'll get some of our thoughts and post all of our links to there. And yeah, check out our website, TBMF1Show.com. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, any other podcast app that you use if you want to listen to us. YouTube, we always have the video, and our website will also have all that as well.
Oh, just a note for people on iTunes podcast: if you were following us like 2 months ago, for some reason iTunes has decided to change their stuff around, so you have to like go back and search for us again. So if you weren't getting updated podcasts, that's probably why.
Yeah, good point.
That was a good point.
Because I think we discovered this like a last month or something when I was looking for it. So
Yeah.
yes, if you do listen on iTunes podcast, that is a major concern. So definitely go look us up again. That's probably why you haven't been listening to us as much on iTunes podcast. So there's that option too.
Yeah.
Especially for the Tim Hauraney interview, it's like, yeah,
It's a long one.
almost 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So that was a good one to listen
Yeah.
as just a podcast as well.
Yep. That's good. All right. Thanks everyone again for joining us. Hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you soon. Take care.